We are live back in the Ben Reinberg I Own It studios today in Laguna Beach, California. And what an incredible week we've had. We've had incredible women on the show this week. It's been an all women week, which I'm extremely grateful. And we have a wonderful young lady about to come on. She's an entrepreneur, a coach, a mentor, a real icon in what she does, and a friend. And I'm really excited to have her on. Donni Wiggins, thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to the I Own It show. I wanted you on this show, Donni, because you own it. You are responsible for everything in your life and your career, and what you do for other women and empowering them is so important that I felt it was great that we can educate our audience on how special you really are. So, welcome to the show, and it's so nice to see you.
I am excited to be here, Ben, on the I Own It podcast. That is such an amazing name. I love it.
Well, thank you. So, what is so powerful to me about your story is, you hit rock bottom in '08, okay? And you made no excuses, which I have so much respect for you. And you were determined to make an amazing life for yourself and your daughter. Can you share more about that time in your life and what your what your aha realizations were at that point?
Yeah, during that time, Ben, so to back up just a little bit, I did not grow up in what I would have considered poverty. Like I had everything as a child, never knew any different. I discovered like the art of being broke as an adult all by myself, right? And as a mom, during that time when I lost everything in 2008 because of the recession, I was making a significant amount of income, but I saved nothing. I shopped all of my money away. And the changing moment, the pivotal moment for me was when the bank sent a family into my house. It's me and my daughter. I'm a single mom. A bank sent a family into my house to attempt to negotiate a short sale. They brought their children with them, a little girl and a little boy. And at this time, my daughter had this custom built bedroom. It looked like a little princess castle. It was gorgeous. And we're walking around the house, and these kids are fighting over who's going to get her bedroom. And my daughter is just kind of standing in the hallway looking, right? Watching them fight over, I want this room. This room's going to be mine. I'm crushed as a parent. This bedroom, she's like 7 years old at the time. This bedroom is like her pride and joy. All of her friends, she's bringing them over for excitement. She loves her room. Everybody goes crazy over it. And two people in her face are talking about taking ownership of it, not realizing that their win is due to our loss. And I went into the stairwell, sat down. This is the first time that I had been brought to tears by the fact that, like, wow, you're really about to lose it all. And my daughter comes into the stairwell while I'm sitting there as the family's continuing to view the home. And she puts her arms around me at like 7, maybe 6 years old. And she says, it's okay, mommy, as long as the boy doesn't get my room. In that moment, one, I realized that she was more aware of what was happening than I thought she would be. And then two, that I would never put us in a situation where things are taken from, especially my daughter, involuntarily. And I just set out on a mission to change the dynamic of what was happening in my life.
Mm, that's so powerful. Do you feel that being a single mother and the challenges you've been through has propelled you to this level of success now that you're at?
For sure. Mainly because, and I talk about this a lot, it's so easy to disappoint yourself. Like, you ever made a goal? You ever created a goal and it's like, yeah, I'm going to lose this weight, or I'm going to stop, I'm not drinking again, or whatever the case may be. And then it's like, okay, I'll eat the steak when I'm supposed to have the salad, or I'll have one cocktail. It's not too bad. We disappoint ourselves all the time, and we're perfectly fine doing so, right? We make these promises to ourselves, these resolutions. Nobody else knows. There's nobody holding us accountable. So when we don't do it, it's just a self disappointment, and we've become comfortable with that. Whereas in that stairwell that day, I promised my daughter that life would be amazing for her. So I made this promise to her, and though I can break promises to myself, I could not, as a mom of such a beautiful, unique, and smart little girl, I could not let her down. So, absolutely, my journey as a single mom held me accountable on a whole other level that I likely wouldn't have been held accountable to before. I've been pursuing entrepreneurship and a higher level of success before she was born. And obviously, that wasn't enough. So, yes, being her mom absolutely held me accountable in a way that was just different.
Well, Donnie Wiggins, you brought up a great point that I want to touch on is how you treat yourself
Yeah.
and what you say to yourself and believe in yourself and how powerful it is. I had to learn that years ago how
Mhm.
important that is. I didn't know that, and so I appreciate you saying that because that's important for our audience to know that what you say about yourself, how you treat yourself, how you love yourself has such a big impact every day when you're showing up and trying to earn a living and trying to build a career and your energy behind it and your
Yeah.
mindset and that emotional state. You know, emotional state is so powerful when you walk into a room or you walk in, you know, that little girl that you raised, how important it is that your emotional state is always on point, especially and look, we all go through challenges. I mean,
Right.
don't get me wrong, we're all sad and happy and different
Right.
emotions, but if you can control your emotional state, which you can, you're a master of, that's a wonderful thing. That's a great gift you give to your daughter. So I really appreciate you bringing that up. You know, I always want to ask you this, okay? And now I got you captured. So here we go. How'd you come up with the concept of the six figure accelerator? And share with me more information. How does the program work?
All right. So, Six Figure Accelerator is my signature program that I offer to train and develop coaches, consultants, and course creators to put them on a pathway to making six figures from their own coaching, consulting, and course business possible within a 12-month period of time. And when I created that, the name, it was just a thing. I don't remember, but I believe I was asleep and I woke up and had the name there. But for so long I thought six figures was the milestone, right? I thought like being able to reach $100,000 was the freedom mark. And then you get there and you realize that it's not. However, to be able to create six figures from your own idea is a huge mile marker, right? The fact of the matter is, we all want to make millions of dollars, but not everybody will. And so, a more reasonable target metric for someone to go after is six figures. And I use that number because it's powerful. It resonates with a lot of people. And the pathway that I've created really does accelerate my students to success. Like you're sitting and you're thinking through what kind of coaching program should I offer? What kind of consultant can I be? What kind of course should I create? It's for that person who has a bunch of information. You know something about something and you've overcome something successfully. You've gone through a process successfully and now you give advice about this all the time. You're talking to your friends, people are calling you for this advice. You know, if you're ever that go-to, like, hey, can you review my resume? Hey, what do you think about this business idea? Like, there's a coach or a consulting program inside of that. And I literally just duplicated my framework that I used over the years. Um, and at that time that I created the program, it had been 8 years that I'd been operating in this space, but I trained and developed informally several coaches and consultants. So I'm like, hey, let's package this up and put it into a program so I can help more people than who can fit on my calendar for one-on-one access. And the program is outstanding. It's self study, self paced, but there is an element of coaching through a weekly coaching call with my team, and I really make you think on a deeper level, go deeper. I don't believe in creating like right now, Ben, we're in this space where so many people are experts, right?
Right. I
And
know everyone's an expert.
everybody's an expert. And if I'm being honest, it's a bunch of fluff. You go and take somebody's course or join somebody's mastermind, and then suddenly you're coming back and you're
Right.
expert and you're teaching and you're charging $15,000 for it.
Right.
I take you through a real process of self discovery because in this space, I believe that you should be serving someone who is ideally a person who reflects a part of the journey that you've been in before. So I
Okay.
have been a coach attempting to make six figures For 8 years, for maybe 3 years, I was attempting to make six figures. But at the time that I created it, I operated for 12 years, 8 years in that space. So I know the journey, I know the fears, I know what's keeping you up at night, and I'm
Hmm.
taking you through the process, and it works.
Who joins? Like, what's your typical client look like? Like, if so people know, like, if someone's out there and saying, I need that help, who are
Yeah.
typical clients, or like who typically joins this program?
These are subject matter authorities, and I use the word authority versus expert
Hmm.
because I don't believe that you necessarily have to be an expert. For instance, I am a business development coach right now. When I started in this space, I had no idea that I would become this big business coach, right? No idea. I was just really good at helping people create business ideas. I was the person that people would call and say, hey, I was thinking about doing this. What do you think? And I'm like, based on what I know about you, I think you should try this. And then they go do it and they create the success. And coming up in that space, I was sharing a lot at that time on Facebook, like, wow, I helped my friend do such and such. Or I was involved in the network marketing industry, and I was like the worst for my upline because you're supposed to keep people in your network marketing team. And I would get on calls with them and I'd be like, this isn't the opportunity for you. Do you hear the way that you communicate? Like you should be somebody's executive assistant to a major entrepreneur. Like you're doing this on your job right now for 40 grand, you could go and do that for a CEO and entrepreneur and make 100 grand. And then they're going to do these things. So the type of coach you can be any type of coach, right? Primarily people, though, for me who work in the digital space, not typically your brick and mortar for that program. I'll work with a brick and mortar client one on one, but for Six Figure Accelerator, this is someone who's digital. This is someone who helps a customer get a transformation. We have everything from author coaches, people who help you to write your books. We have business coaches, spiritual development coaches, fitness coaches. I even have a young lady who is a jump rope coach.
Mm,
She helps women learn how to double dutch. And
really?
it's
That's a
like,
business that you can make money double dutching?
first of all, Ben, I said when I saw her survey come through, everybody who applies for the program fills out a questionnaire. And I saw that my team brought this new student in, and I'm reading her survey, and I'm like, jump rope, double dutch. What are we thinking, guys? We're not getting desperate for sales. And I gave her a
The
call.
reason why I asked is I love to jump rope.
Well,
I'm really good at it. So
yeah,
I'm really interested. Go
well,
ahead.
so I give her a call and I said, hey, I think my team enrolled you in the program and I'm not sure this is for you. And she's like, oh no, everything that they said is exactly what I need. Can you tell me a little bit more about what you do? Well, she uses her jump roping program to help women who have lost their imagination due to them becoming a parent or a spouse, and they're getting lost in balancing the weight of the world on their shoulders. And she's found that this is a major confidence tool to help you kind of tap back into that inner child and get that inner child motivation. And she is killing it. Multiple six-figure business, just
Wow.
her, and I'm blown away. Yeah.
That's amazing. So Donnie Wiggins, you are the goddess of the Six Figure Accelerator program. What's your favorite part about what you do professionally?
The favorite part about what I do across all of my businesses is just the transformation that I help people get. It's these aha moments. It's really helping. Like I'm a fan of the underdog, so it's
Me too.
really helping that person who feels stuck, feels like I see you are successful, but I don't know if I can ever achieve that for myself. It's seeing the turnaround story, like that comeback story is the most favorite thing. And then second to that, very closely second to that, would definitely be when I can see, like if I'm speaking to a client one on one, or if I'm speaking to a crowd, you know how you can see that light bulb go off in somebody's head when I'm looking at someone and I can see the moment where they're experiencing this paradigm shift, it does something like on the inside of me. Love it so much.
Well, let me ask you something. That's a good point because sometimes when you're helping these people, let's say they have existing business.
Hmm.
I'll reflect on a story I did. So I was helping someone with their business, and just they were a resource that was working for me.
Hmm.
and I saw gaps in their business. And so I started helping them, and they got very defensive on a
Yeah.
frequent basis. Do you find that some of your clients have existing business that they're like, well, Donnie, who are you to tell me how to run my business and expose the gaps and the issues because you've been more successful than me? I mean, do you find that there's some challenge? And then I'm gonna lead into my next question. What do you find the hardest part about what you do?
Uh, so to answer the first part of the question, has there ever been a challenge in that area or in that way? Yes. I just part ways with that client, right?
Okay.
If
Makes
you
sense.
feel like you know more than I do and you're offended by this, then we're not a good fit to work together, right?
Hmm.
Um, but my process and the reputation that I've built is kind of funny, kind of embarrassing. Like, I'm known as a very direct, kind of in your face, tell it like it is coach. So the process that I take people through to even become a client lets them know kind of at the very beginning, like, this isn't one of those situations that you want to come in with that attitude with, right? We're either getting to work or we're going to part ways. And I'm so serious. I have no problem refunding you your money. The second part to that question was, what do I find to be the most difficult thing?
Hmm.
One of the most, I run such a soft business. I run such a business of ease and flow, and I've created it that way. Again,
Hmm.
it's the way that I've streamlined my process. I only accept clients that I actually would like to work with. So I don't get a lot of resistance from my clients. However, sometimes you will get someone, that just feels like whatever comes out of your mouth is the answer, and I'm going to, like, this is it, it has to work or it has to work. Sometimes people don't understand like reasonable expectations and the art of testing and testing again and testing again, and that we're giving feedback based off of things that we've experienced and or tested ourselves, but that doesn't make it 100%, you know, accurate. And so sometimes you'll get people who feel like, okay, now I've hired a coach, show me to my $1 million. And I'm like, yeah, but there's some steps to
So
that.
you have to
Work.
establish standards. You have a standard saying, here's our process.
Yeah.
Uh, if you follow these steps, you have
Hmm.
a high probability of creating. So if you could take someone on the journey of, here's how you create.
Hmm.
So if I could show you, if you follow my lead, you have
Yes.
a better chance of creating success. But you have to be persistent and follow up and
Yeah.
bring in resources. So as long as you educate them, I would think if people are hungry enough, they'll create success for themselves.
And many of them do. Many of them
Okay.
do. For sure. But you get people, you will always, it's never going to be a 100% success factor. You're going to get people who say, oh, I'll do steps 1, 3, and 7 because those are comfortable for me, but I won't do 2, 4, and 6 because I don't like that so much. And then they get to the end and they're like, oh, this didn't work. Yeah, well, you skipped the steps. So technically, you didn't work.
So you advise in many situations for people to quit their dead end job. Okay. I've
Hmm.
heard you say a lot and become the right now entrepreneur. So for many listeners, this will sound impossible for them.
Yeah.
Could you share more about why it can be possible for so many people?
It's possible because there's evidence that says that it is possible. That's the simplest answer. Like, so you can't refute evidence, right? We can refute opinions all day long, but facts are facts. And in this highly social driven society that we live in, we see people every single day who are betting on themselves, every single day sharing their stories about how they leverage their job just long enough to be able to create an additional stream for themselves, and they've been able to work their way off their jobs, right? So there's nothing more than I can say to you that matters any more than the evidence that we see. Just look at your social media channels. How many people do you see are entrepreneurs now? Most of us had jobs at first. Maybe get with someone that you can reach or know and say, well, hey, what were the steps that you took, right? I didn't just quit my job without already having started to establish something else. And that's really important. I don't advocate that you just quit cold turkey. You don't have anything saved. You hadn't thought of an idea. You're kind of trying to build a business with your back against the wall out of duress, that's never a great position or the most ideal position to be in. But if you strategically create a plan for an exit strategy for your job while you're building your side business that eventually turns into your full-time business, it's absolutely possible. And not only is it possible, Ben, it's not that hard to do. It's just,
Well, it's mindset's everything
yeah,
because I don't believe in the word impossible.
yeah,
Okay. Everything's possible. And it's really impossible is more of like an emotion to me
yeah.
because people feel like it's, I don't believe in the word can't either, or won't, or shouldn't, or contraction. It's really mindset. If you have the right mindset for your folks that are looking for your coaching or any of my listeners out there, it's so important that you work on your mindset and your mind because that's really where you have to get your arms. Everyone's biggest challenge is themselves. It's not the outside world. It's how do I master my inner game? And when you can master your inner game, oh man, oh baby, you can conquer a lot in life. And I'm sure you've been through that process, and that's why you've been so successful because you know how to control your emotions. You know how to balance your mind. And so I wanted to ask you, so there are plenty of people who believe that they're innately not entrepreneurial.
Yeah.
Do you believe that's true about some people, or do you believe that everyone has a kind of spark in them and it's the coach's job, like yourself, Donnie Wiggins, to help kindle it?
I was having this debate a few weeks ago. It's why it's so funny. No, I don't believe that everyone should be an entrepreneur, Ben. I believe that everyone has a unique ability to do something more than, just their 9 to 5. I believe that everybody has a divine purpose, but I don't believe that it always shows up in entrepreneurship. And that's just that. Like, entrepreneurship requires um, it requires like this formula that I have to actually write out one day, and I think that I will. But it's a combination of mindset, belief, determination, resiliency, skill set, and ability, right? And if those pieces don't align at the right time, then this is a crap show. It's a disaster, right? Uh, and everybody doesn't have, typically you're missing something. And so usually as an entrepreneur, when I tell my clients that are missing something, for example, they're great at being the talent but they're terrible at marketing, I'd say, hey, we need to hire a marketing team. Or they're great at marketing but they have a crappy product, okay, we need to hire product specialists, or something like that. That's one way to look at it. But there are some people who have absolutely no desire, and entrepreneurship is not for that person at that time. Can you grow out of having no desire? Sure. But if you are currently in a state where you have absolutely no desire, then entrepreneurship is likely not the pathway for you right now.
So you got to be hungry to be an entrepreneur. You got to
I
have
think,
that burning desire. You got to be able to show up. It's one of the things people always ask me, like, well, I'm about to start a business. I said, we'll buckle up because you know what? It's not easy. You're going to go through ups and downs. You're going to have to balance your emotions and you're going to have to work harder than anyone else. And
yeah.
that's the truth. And I think a lot of people have trouble getting their mind and their arms around that concept of, what do you mean I have to work harder than everyone else? Well,
Mhm.
you might have to put in a Saturday. You might have to put in a few nights. You might have to travel. You might have to take some risks. And being an entrepreneur, as you know, is a lonely business. It's lonely, right? And so I salute you because I've been on that journey for almost 30 years now, and there's no one more that appreciates an entrepreneur than a fellow entrepreneur. So thank you for sharing that. You know, another thing you advise is not to rely on a single income source, like we touched on earlier. Intuitively, I get the logic of not putting all your eggs in one basket, but for many people, it probably feels implausible that they can find the time and focus to do this.
Mhm.
How do you respond to people who have that kind of upfront skepticism? because I always feel like if you're going to do something, you got to go all in. You got to get in the water, you got to start swimming, and you got to burn whatever fear behind you to keep going. So express to me how you feel about that.
Yeah, I agree with you. If you're going to do this thing, especially if you're brand new, you do have to go all in. And not putting all your eggs in one basket has levels to it. In the beginning, when you are just getting started with your business, you're going all in. You're putting all your eggs in one basket. I believe that the issue comes in because many people have a misunderstanding of what multiple streams of income actually is. So I am not advocating for you to have three or four or five businesses that are not in alignment. They have nothing to do with each other. I am saying diversify the way that you earn money. So if you are just working a 9 to 5 right now, and that's your only source of income, and you get laid off, you've put all your eggs in that one basket, and that's not gonna end well for you, right? However, if you had that same 9 to 5 and you said, "Hey, I am going to um, I'm going to go and purchase a whole life insurance policy, right? Or a cash value life insurance policy. So, in the event that something happens that's emergent in my life, I have access to some other cash. Or, and then, you can take loans against that policy and do some other things with and leverage. Or you could say things like, I have a 9 to 5. I understand that right now, but I am really great at baking cupcakes. So on the weekends, I'm just going to bake these cupcakes. It doesn't take away from me being great at my 9 to 5 Monday through Friday, but it's me saying I'm not going to put all my eggs in one basket. And then from that, when I start selling these cupcakes on the weekends and I notice that I'm making 500 extra bucks a month, I am going to figure out the best investment strategy for $500 a month and figure out how to make that money multiply. Right.
Mm,
And then
mm-hmm.
as my business starts to grow, if my goal is to become an entrepreneur, because I've diversified my portfolio, because I've taken these profits and I'm putting them in an investment account and it's beginning to grow, as my business grows, I am more comfortable now leaving my 9 to 5 with confidence because all of my eggs are not in one basket.
Nice. So psychologically, there's a difference between having more money and feeling wealthy. Okay. How do you think about the distinction in your life and also those you're coaching?
Having money and feeling wealthy.
Hmm. What's the
Uh,
difference?
there is there is a difference. There's definitely a difference. I mean, anybody could have money. You got 20 bucks in your pocket, you have money, right?
Hmm.
Um, I believe that wealth is something that is generated over time, and we have to measure. It's so difficult, Ben, because so many people think about what wealth is to them and what it
Hmm.
means to them. And there's really not a whole lot of like arguing here. Either you're wealthy or you're not. And wealthy is in abundance. Okay.
Hmm.
So if you
Yeah.
have the money and you have, let's just say you have $100,000 in your bank account, you've got some money, right?
Right.
You've got
Right.
some. But if you're not doing anything to create additional revenue, and we have this $100,000, and we balance out what it costs to live your life, and that's $90,000 for the year, well, you got some money, but you don't have wealth. You barely have access to enough money to live your life for 1 year. So, wealth is created through diversifying your portfolio, having an abundance of assets, right? And that could be money, that could be property, that could be investments, that could be fine art. It could be so many things um, that will allow you to live your life abundantly and serve other people to help them live their lives abundantly as well. Wealth has more to do with the assets that you own than the money that you possess.
Well said. Especially coming from a commercial real estate guru like myself.
I know.
Cannot I agree with it wholeheartedly. That's been the path of my career. And Donnie Wiggins, I appreciate you. You are so delightful.
Thank you.
Um, Let me ask you a question. So we are all works in progress, right? Every day we're all work in progress and trying to improve every day. What the name of the show is I Own It. It's being responsible for everything in your life. Was there ever a moment, like obviously we talked about '08, but was there another moment where you didn't own it and you looked at yourself and you said, "Man, I gotta figure this out."
Doesn't that happen to us regularly? Like, isn't there
Are you
all
trying to say that's a weekly, everyday
yeah,
occurrence, or?
and I'm not
But
trying all the
yeah, no,
so
I mean, you have a good point. It's not a bad point, but was there like a moment you reflect back and share with my audience, like, because you're so successful now, you empower women, you're a strong, sophisticated woman. Share with people the reality of, like, there was a moment where you didn't own it, and you know what, you're human, and you bleed like everyone else.
yeah. I have two. And one is completely unrelated to entrepreneurship. In my personal relationships, I wasn't owning what I brought to the table that wasn't in the best interest of the relationship, right?
Okay.
Uh, my childhood trauma, my fears, things that I was dealing with, and really just looking at relationships and saying, oh, this isn't working, or, he changed, or this happened. When really I didn't take ownership. Like, we think that we're operating perfectly. We think that our way is our way and it's the right way. So that's one example. As it relates to being a business owner, though, I can think back to a time where I'd hired my first assistant, and it was just a disaster, right? As great as she was, nothing was ever getting done. And it got to the point where I was saying, she didn't do this. I remember talking about her after the fact, and I'm like, yeah, she just didn't do this. She didn't do that. Oh my God, look at the emails. They're such a mess, and blah, 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 blah. When really, Ben, the truth of the matter is that I hired a good person and threw her into a bad system, right?
Uh-huh.
And I brought her on during a chaotic period of my life. I need help. Can you help me here? Can you check email? Can you operate Microsoft Office Suite? Can you operate a project management board? Yes, you can do those things. Okay, here you go, right? I handed her this mess of a business and expected her to just get it. And I had to own the fact that I didn't train her. I had to own the fact that I didn't document my processes at that time. I had to own the fact that I brought her into chaos and didn't really give her enough opportunity to first clear up that chaos before I expect you to jump into current activity. And I think I see that often. I see people as business owners blaming their teams often, or their like ad companies and copywriting teams, when really, did you do a thorough job did you send them a fluff bio? Like, maybe they're not speaking in your voice because the stuff that you rushed through it, you didn't have time, you're so busy. We have to take ownership of what we contribute in a good or a negative way, and we all contribute positively and negatively every single
Well,
time.
and it's such a great point. First of all, I totally agree with that. That's a wonderful point you just said. I think a lot of it also in human nature, a lot of people have struggles with being honest with themselves,
Yeah.
looking themselves in the mirror and saying, because a mirror is you're creating the situation.
Hmm.
And I think a lot of people have trouble owning that, of saying, maybe I created this. Okay, I can own up to that. But it's also a two-way, it's a two-sided street. So I think that's always been the struggle with people, is that they can't own their own behaviors.
Yeah.
So uh, I have a question for you. What are the biggest struggles of these clients that come to you? So what is, like, typically you see that someone's struggling and they're saying, Donnie, I need your help coaching. I mean, what
Yeah.
are you seeing with these folks that are coming to you?
So I work with a variety of clients on a one-on-one level. And the reason that I do this is because it keeps me sharp and well-rounded. All of my peers to, oh, you got to stop this one-on-one stuff. It's not scalable and blah, 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 blah. But it's a passion for me, and it actually fulfills me. I tried to cut out one-on-one coaching a year ago, and it was probably my most I felt depressed, but I had nothing to be depressed about. It was really just a lack of fulfillment that I would later discover. So, right now, book of business, I have clients who have been stuck at a revenue scale for a period of time, and they can't figure out how to get past it. And so they'll hire me so that we can go through and audit their business and see if I can identify any way for them to break through wherever they are in terms of revenue. And for reference, all of my clients that I will work with one on one have to already be earning at least $250,000 annually, and then most of them are making seven figures or beyond. I have clients. I have one guy, eight-figure client. He is just all over the place. He's running warehouses and programs and masterminds, and he just needs help streamlining his offers. Really, like, let's streamline these things. Let's put SOPs in place. Believe it or not, he's running this huge warehouse and corporate office, and they don't have any SOPs in place. They just have a bunch of people who kind of do what he told them to do day one, right? So now we're creating those workflows and processes as he's hiring more people, and then also with him, he really just needs feedback from somebody who gets it. He
Right.
can't talk to his business partners in certain areas because he feels like that conversation is a little bit jaded based on their intent and the way
Right.
that they benefit. He can't talk to his family because they just don't understand, and your friends, they don't care. So that's really the bulk of our relationship. Right now, we are in webinar season with a lot of my clients, with several of my clients. So we're, scripting webinars and helping them to sell high ticket. I focus on clients who have high ticket offers to sell, or they have an extremely high level of influence, large followings, and we're looking to monetize those things.
Great. All right. Well, we're gonna wrap up, and we ask all our guests at the end of our show our three questions.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I think so.
Donnie Wiggins, I'm excited to hear what you have to say.
Okay.
So, if you're in the studio with me, we have a couch, and I
Okay.
would say, Donnie, get on the couch, lay down, close your eyes. This the still Donnie Wiggins you are today
Hmm.
uh, could roll back time and speak to your 16-year-old self. Now you're this elegant, sophisticated, successful woman these days, and you're going to speak to yourself when you're 16. What would you tell yourself at
Yeah.
16 years old, knowing what you know now from all the years of experience?
Oh gosh, I would absolutely tell myself, hey, Donnie, those things that you're getting in trouble now are going to be the things that will create wealth for you. And stop doubting yourself. Like, absolutely stop doubting yourself. But most important, 16-year-old Donnie, I need you to stop wasting time. Because if you keep doing this, you're going to turn around and you're going to be 40 doing the things that you could have been doing at 25. So focus. Your friends will understand, your friends will be there, and they're going to go on to start living their lives and passing you up if you don't get it together real soon. So you got it. Everything that's in your head that you're thinking right now, young lady, it's coming and it's going to happen. It's going to happen. You just have to stay focused and stop wasting time.
Great answer. Fantastic. So it's our last day on earth.
Okay.
God forbid. It's just me and you. It's our last meal together.
Hmm.
It's your choice. What are we eating and what are we drinking?
Oh gosh, we're getting toasted. Like, I just,
All right. All
I don't want
right.
the end, right?
Uh
Um,
huh.
we are eating the most divine meal that we can access. I would love a smorgasbord, so to speak, of lamb chops and lobster and maybe
Oh,
some wagyu, steak,
wow.
ribeye, something like that. If we can, oh, it's just us. I was going to say, if we can get Salt Bay here to lay it all out for us, that would be
Okay.
wonderful.
We could do
Uh,
that.
yeah, if we could do that, that would be awesome. And I am drinking. Oh gosh, let's see. What am I drinking? So I love a really cheap drink, but it's my thing. I love a good coconut mojito. So I'm
Really?
having,
I didn't know they make coconut mojitos.
oh,
That's
it's a
kind of cool.
coconut
Is that
cream.
like an island drink if you went on vacation, you'd find it in like the Bahamas or
That's
something?
where I found it, traveling internationally.
Nice.
But there are several restaurants domestically that can make it, and when they get it right, they get it right.
Ooh,
So
that
if
sounds
I
good.
Austin again, I have to
Uh-huh.
take you. There's a hotel there that the
Uh-huh.
bartender can make a good coconut cream.
Oh, I like that.
Having all of that.
You got a date. That sounds great.
Yes.
I
And
love
if
that.
it's our last day on earth,
Yeah.
Ben, we're talking about everything except business.
Yeah, God bless you. I love that. What like if you had to rock a dessert, what dessert could you have? Like what do you have a favorite dessert?
Yes, chocolate. Chocolate number one is my thing. But if you could give me a fantastic dark chocolate brownie
Ooh.
walnut sundae,
Mm.
that would do it for me.
Oh,
Sure.
baby. I love it.
I'm
Love it.
very simple with dessert. I have an occasional sweet tooth, but chocolate, since a little girl, it will just do it for me.
Oh, that sounds great. So
Yeah.
in our I Own It studios in Laguna Beach here, and by the way, next time you're in California, you can come in
Yeah.
and hang out, and we could do another one with you in
How
2023.
far are you from LA?
We're an hour south.
Okay. I literally just landed back from LA today.
All
But I'm
right,
there maybe every 2 months or so.
there you go. Well, feel free to come visit us.
Yeah.
So in our studio, we have electric guitars behind my right shoulder, and then a drum set, and then to my left, I have a grand piano.
Okay.
So you have the choice of bringing in any musician to play us a song. They could be deceased, they could be living. It's your choice to play us a song. Who would you bring in to play us a song into the studio?
Based
What?
on that equipment that you have, the electric guitar, the drum set, and the piano, I am choosing Prince all day.
Oh man, we've had a lot of folks choose Prince. Prince is
Every,
so good. He's
yeah,
so talented, or he
so,
was so talented. It's
yeah,
unfortunate, but
he's my
uh,
favorite of all time. But based on
uh,
that equipment specifically, absolutely him all day.
what song would you want him to play?
Oh gosh, his live version of Purple Rain is,
Oh,
so we just have to go there.
and he
And
would probably
Darling,
start on the piano
oh,
too.
yeah,
Oh, what a great choice. I love that choice. Yeah, that's I'm a big fan of Michael Jackson. I thought Michael Jackson in the studio and he would start on the piano would be so freaking cool.
I think
So,
so. Yeah, absolutely. He's just not, Prince was known for performing with his live instruments, and
yep.
that was his thing. I didn't think of Mike when it came to I was thinking about someone actually playing the instruments, which I'm sure he could do very well also. Mike is, oh gosh, I don't know. You can't, it's a big argument, Prince or Mike. I'm like, they're not the same. They're both amazing, but Prince in that studio right now for sure.
Uh, great choice. What is so for everyone out there in the ether, what is the best way to engage with you and follow you? Like is it a website, it's social media? What's the best way to hook up
Yeah.
with you?
So if you are looking for business coaching,
Mhm.
or you are looking for a program that can develop you as a coach, consultant, or course creator, you can go to my website, sixfigureedu.com, and that's the word six spelled out. And then you can just connect with me to find out more at Donni Wiggins underscore, and that's DonniWiggins underscore.
Sounds like you've done this before.
1,010,000 times.
All right. Well, Donnie Wiggins, thank you so much. For everyone out there, feel free to click the like button on this episode and feel free to drop kick in the lower right hand button on YouTube, subscribe if you want to listen to more of Ben Reinberg, the I Own It shows. We have incredible women and men from all over the world on our show, and we're here to provide you the best knowledge so you can grow your business and improve your life in health, wealth, and relationships and in your business. To follow me personally, go to benreinberg.com. You can follow me on all the social media platforms, and I will be teaching commercial real estate all throughout the world coming shortly in 2023. If you're interested in learning about our company, go to alliancecgc.com. If you're interested in investing in commercial real estate passively, feel free to let us know. We just launched our new Alliance Medical Property Fund, which is just going extremely well. So, Donnie Wiggins, thank you very much. You own it. And I am very grateful you shared some time with us today. So, thank you very much and have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you, Ben, for having me. I absolutely did enjoy being here for sure. Thank you.
All right, Don.